Okay, so today we're going to talk about requirements and tool support. Means what kind of tools we have to actually support your requirement management. So the learning objectives for today is we know what are the two categories in requirements engineering. We can explain the advantages, the disadvantages, know the representations of two categories, and also the basic procedure, for choosing and implementing a tool, introducing a new tool to your organization. So motivation for use of tools. So why do we want to use requirement management tools? So if you're using Excel for your requirements management, that is also a tool as well. Okay, so one, we need support for managing and evaluating requirements, because requirements can be very complicated, especially when there are a lot and there's a lot of people working on the requirements, a lot of revisions. So we need tools for that. So the tools help us actually implement traceability. So we know which requirement can be traced to your design document, your test cases, right? Automated checking, for clear grammar mistakes, centralization of information. So anybody want to know where the requirements are, it's centralized all in one place, right? Secure data, and also for us to generate reports, and also input and define the processing of requirements. So what are the benefits of requirement management tools? Okay. So we want this to use tools, okay, to ensure our requirements are clear, realistic, and agreed upon. So everybody agrees on it before we finalize on the requirement. So we hope these tools can help us remove ambiguity, remove the blurry parts of the requirements, different sort of interpretations, assumptions, right? So basically requirement management tools help us manage clarity of the requirements, right? Okay, tools categories for use in requirements management. So there are a lot of categories, a lot of purpose why we use tools for requirements management, right? Some are for modeling tools, help us modeling, to do use cases using Star UML or whatever software there are. So many software out there. Configuration management tools, right? Configuring requirement versioning as well. And also knowledge management tools such as Wiki, right? It's also a tool, right, to manage your requirements. You can use that to manage your requirements. There's no such thing as a best tool, actually. It's something that best fits your organization or your actual project. So what to look for in a requirements management tool? Okay. So if for the management part, if you want to use requirements for managing your requirements, then it has to have these functionalities. It can export or import data to create documentation, model relationships or traceability between your requirements, right? If you're using these requirements for visualization, means that you want it to show graphs, or to show some sort of dashboard or statistics for your management of requirements, then yeah, you look for interactive flows, some graphical models, and it's good for traceability, collaboration. So you can actually, like Trello is like one of the tools you can use. Actually, you can review, approve, but you can't provide electronic signatures in Trello. So gather inputs through comments, messaging, right? And you also want to see if your tools can actually integrate with your development environment or Word documents or spreadsheet, right? So if it can integrate, the software can integrate, so you can just export, to spreadsheets or Word, then it's great. So the basic features of a requirements management tool is it can manage a lot of information. Okay, that's basic, right? So it can actually you can set relationships between this information, or like how is this requirement relate with the previous requirement? Is it a sub requirement of a larger requirement? Right? Identify artifacts uniquely, so every requirement should have a unique ID, right? So make information accessible through access control, so not everybody can view these requirements. Only those who have the correct access control can view the parts that they can use. So you can do that with Excel, right? So these are some basic tools for requirements management: organizing the information, generating reports, and also generating documents, right? Exporting documents from that information. So these are the comparison of some features that you have in requirement tools. Okay, so different tools have different features, so for your assignment you can explore, right, what are the features would have in those tools, right? So do because there are so many tools out there, okay, so I want you to actually evaluate, okay. um so we need a method to evaluate these tools actually. So it should be a systematic method. So what is the process that you would need to go through to actually select a requirements management tool, right? So before you actually think of introducing a tool, you will need to know what are the resources you have, because tools can be time consuming. You need a tool, maybe you don't even need a tool, right? So don't introduce a tool just because you think it can help with the process. You should fix the process first, then the tool will only support the fixed process. So evaluation according to defined criteria take into account cost beyond license cost, right? So, and can the employees use the tool? Will they be reluctant? So these are some things you want to think about when introducing tools. So this is basically a generic process, how you introduce tools to an organization. First, you need to define the problem. Okay, this is step 2. So step 1 is you need to define what is the problem and why you need to use the tool. So the problem may be, not managing requirements properly, no proper access control, blah blah blah, whatever, right? So and step 2, when you introduce the tool, you will need to study what tools out there. So once you know the problem, then you have to study what are the tools that are available to solve your problem, right? So you can work with your colleagues, your co-workers, experts, find the tool categories, because some tools they specialize in different categories. So once you have gone shopping to window shopping for your requirements tools, finally you need to shortlist them. Okay, so shortlist a list, maybe 3 to 5 tools, which one that you think will meet your purpose. Okay, so and you may also want to ask the vendor if the tool has a vendor, like it's not free, it has to be installed by a supplier. Then you may need to call them to give a presentation or quotation or something like that, right? So once you've selected it, then you should not implement it right away. You should pilot it. When I say pilot, means you should test it first in a small scale, maybe with a few workers. Okay, does it fit your work? Maybe you can test it on one project first before you implement it on other projects, right? Then after you have tested it, you have to evaluate the benefit, right, of it with using it. And so what about your team? Do they accept the new tool, or can they work faster, or right? So once you've pilot, then you have established a broad usage of the chosen tool, so you have tested a few, and so you make a decision, which one you want to choose. And once you make a decision, you will need to establish support. So who's going to support if you have problems using the tool? You need to train your workers to adapt the tool, and also estimate the cost involved, like licensing, training. Okay, so these are some requirement management tools. So you can have a look at these tools. You may want to use it and test it for your project, get the trial version, something. So right, that's all for today. Thank you very much.